Hello everybody, this is Mike from MBoxWave.com, and I just got into a long position on this morning's Emini S&P 500. So I saw a good setup, and so I want to go through the analysis. I just got in here after this Three Stooges with the plus 32 buy imbalance. So I'm going to start with, so the market's opened up here. We had a sell-off, and then we bounced off of this support line I drew. And I started watching this after I saw the supply come in. So to give it context, I'm going to zoom out. And I want to kind of show what I was looking at, in the context of this trade, right? People are always asking me, well, what to look at, and I keep showing this in the videos. You always want to give context to the trades you're taking, and a good way to do that is to look at what was going on previously, right? So today's Monday, so here's Sunday and here's Friday, right? And what's interesting, what I derived context from was, if you can see Friday, right? If we're looking at the supply, markets opened up. By the end of the day, supply is diminished, right? At the end of the day, towards the end of the day, we had some demand, right? So this only becomes important when it makes sense with the analysis I'm doing for the current day, which is the basis of my trade, right? And so we can see that overall, we've been going up, right? We're making higher lows and we're making higher highs, right? So that's important. So from Friday to today, it looks like this is an uptrend. So that's the bias. That's what I was looking at and keeping in mind. And in the wee hours here, you can see, after Friday afternoon, Sunday is dead. And then something picked up here, right here, 4 o'clock in the morning today, pre-market. Something picked up here, right? Some demand, and you can see it clearly. It kind of just pops up here. And so after the market's opened, right, so this is the demand, right, that I'm talking about. After the market's opened, here we had the sell-off, right, and we came back down to this level, which to me doesn't look like a coincidence, where that demand came in pre-market at 4 in the morning, right here. And so I began to observe it closely. After I saw that, I was thinking, okay, is it going to penetrate? Is it going to penetrate this support line? And or is this a selling climax, right? In my opinion, currently it looks to be like a selling climax, and the support held. All right, so let's go into the analysis here. Right, so we had the supply come in right here initially, right? And I got to keep an eye on the trade because I don't have a target level here, because well, I'll get into that a little later. So we have the initial supply here, and then we can see that it dries up, right, at this swing point. At this swing point right here, the minus 88, we went 242 minus 88, so that's a supply drop. Then at this pivot, we had a buy imbalance, so that's here, and also no supply, right? Meanwhile, we've got our demand here. We've got our demand coming in. Okay, we have the buy imbalance plus the Stooges buy signal. So the buy imbalance plus 32 means there was more buying than selling on this down wave. So it makes you scratch your head and think, okay, what's going on? So we had this plus 32 buy imbalance, and we had the Stooges buy signal. All right, so things starting to look more bullish. On top of that, we're making higher lows, and the supply is diminishing. If you follow the order flow, that's what I'm trying to always show. We went from minus 242 to minus 88 to plus 32, right? So that's supply exhaustion. We can see that in the wave delta. So we went from minus 242, minus 88, plus 32. All right. So we see the supply exhaustion. We also see the cumulative delta, the cumulative selling is also, becomes exhausted. So cumulative selling, exhaustion. Right, and we had this big pace of bids here, and that's valid, but the reaction, since we couldn't make a lower low here, we're making higher lows, and the supply is just evaporating. So this starting to look more, starts to look climactic. Climactic selling, speed of selling. Of bids. All right. So that's what it looks like to me, right? And what gave me context is, we're in this uptrend. We had this push in the wee hours. Supply came in strong on the open, and we bounced right off that level. Supply exhausted. We had this buy imbalance with the Stooges signal. We had confirmation of demand. This is also demand here. It's more demand. Actually, I want to talk about this the way I'm seeing it, because some people are probably going to ask this question. So they're saying, oh, isn't this a demand drop? We went from here to here. You got to look at things in proportion, right? If you look at this box of demand and see how much price moved compared with this box, we have about half the amount of price movement, and we have half the amount of the demand. It looks proportional, right? So that doesn't really bother me. And what's more telling is the supply exhaustion at this previous level of support. So we have this previous level of support holding. That's right here. And what I really like about it is seeing the supply exhaustion happening right at this line, along with demand. Now, we've seen initial demand. And we're on the rise of cumulative. Look at this. Now we're on the rise of the buying. The cumulative buying is rising, right? So that we've got that happening. At the time of the trade, it was here, but so it is expanding now. So, how many points do we have here, right? I mean, so let's count them. So we've got the previous level of support that's holding 1. We've got the supply exhaustion in the wave delta, that's 2. We've got the buy imbalance with the Stooges buy signal, so that's another 2 points. We have 4 points. This supply starting to look like climax to me, right? So that's 5 points. I'm actually going to write that here, because I'm using this to make a case for going long. Supply climax, so that's 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6, right? Here there's no supply, no supply. 6, 7, 8. So we have 2 no supplies here. No supply. Well, I guess we lost that. No supply and no supply. Got to move those in. Right, no supply, no supply. So that's already 8 points. I'm seeing this as demand. That's 9. Cumulative selling is exhausting. That's 10. Climactic speed of bids, that's 11 points, right? So I'm not going to exactly count this because at the time I took the trade, we didn't see that we had reached this level, but everything that I was looking at pointed to um, a bullish trade, right? And again, the main thing is this supply exhaustion at this previous level of support, right? So I was going to talk about the profit, right? So when I zoomed out, and we look at the previous even several days, we are on an uptrend. So, there is no previous level of resistance. So I'm going to keep an eye on the technical analysis, and I'll manage the trade that way. So we're almost 2,000 in profits, 1,875. Um, I guess now all we got to do is wait and see what happens. But the analysis looks like it's solid. It makes sense to me. That's what you always want to do. You always want to make sense out of the analysis. Oh, another thing. Okay, we've got this pullback. Someone will say, "Well, what about this pullback sell?" And I would say, "What about it?" We've got supply exhaustion going on. It is a pullback, but you wouldn't want to sell it because of this, you know, diminishing supply. We got the supply drop, minus 242 to minus 88 supply drop. So supply is drying up at the support level. So there's really no case for a sell here. So you wouldn't take that trade. Um, all right. Anyway, I'm gonna put the record on pause. I don't know how long we're gonna be in here, but you know, I'll come back a bit later. Okay, so now we're back, and I just added another position right at this pullback. So the price did go up. What did we see? There's more demand in the MBox Delta here. We've got more demand coming in. More MBox Delta. More MBox Delta demand. Right. We also, if we look, the cumulative buying is expanding even higher. Here it went a little down, but what I'm looking at right here, and what I want for people to notice is that, look, we went 136 to 309. This is expansion of buying and price. This is classic order flow and basically classic Wyckoff methodology, but he didn't have delta. Wyckoff didn't have delta volume. But anyway, we've got plus 136, then plus 309. So this is expansion in buying and price. Because we're getting, we're going plus 136 to plus 309, plus we're making higher high, higher low, and bam, then we've got the pullback, and so that's why I got in. So if you look at these boxes here, they look smaller than this one, but they're also made up with less candles. So it's looking at things in proportion of this overall wave. We've got plus 309 here, which is the most amount of demand we've seen, and we've got a higher high. At the same time, there's just if you compare it to the selling, we've got just no supply, right? We got no supply, and the cumulative buying is in control. There we go. Disappeared again on me. Right? So those are the things that I look at. We're expanding and buying. We're making higher highs, higher lows, no supply. Buying is in control. All right, so I guess we're gonna see what comes next. I'll put the record on pause and come back when we see something more. All right, so I just got out of both positions. Um, I'll talk about what I saw. I mean, we're still going up. I drew the order fills so that people can see exactly where I got in and where I got out. So I wanted to let me draw this because it's blocking those numbers, and I wanted to talk about it. All right, so those are my order fills. All right, so what do we got? I mean, first of all, I locked in a really solid profit of 15,000. That's some coincidence. It came out to a even number. Sometimes it happens. But anyway, so this no supply continued, right? And we had this huge demand come in. And I thought, okay, well, as long as we're getting more demand in, you know, let's see it push price even further up. So we get even more demand coming in right here. All right. Oh, looks like I could have stayed, but that's all right. So the thing is, I was watching the technical analysis of the indicators, right? And I didn't have an indication of a previous support or resistance level, so I took um, I guess it's a conservative exit, but it was a good exit because I've been in the trade for you know over an hour, so that's already a while for me. And I really what I did as I exited, I saw this drop and I saw this drop, right? I saw this drop in the Q delta and I saw a drop in the MBox delta, but it looks like price may be continuing going up, but that's the analysis I used to exit the trade. It's not that we saw something necessarily super bearish, and price can be going up. We're in this uptrend, and maybe it'll be going edging up against the all-time high of last month sometime later. But I use the technical analysis for an exit. So this is my exit, locked in $15,000 in profit. So I'm happy about that. So yeah, that's it for me today. And what I want to really tell people is, pay attention to these things I'm talking about. Mark up your charts. Look for supply exhaustion, demand exhaustion at previous levels of support or resistance, and then watch the order flow of the buying and selling. Look at the signals. The signals will give you good entry points. If you're not sure where to enter, and write out the trade for what you can get out of it. So anyway, that's it for me today. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.